Welcome to Choosing Love Again, a podcast born from heartbreak and hope. Statistics show that 40 to 50% of marriages end in divorce, and sadly, I, Angela Lewis, am part of that statistic. I believe if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So instead of letting my story end in disappointment, I chose to let it begin with purpose. Here, we sit down with married couples who are doing the work, not just surviving, but thriving. We uncover their wisdom and the secret sauce that keeps their love strong. So lean in, open your heart, and let's choose love again. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Choosing Love Again podcast. I'm your host, Angela Lewis. And today we have a very special couple in the house. They're going to be showing the importance of how friendship can actually be so vital into having a strong, successful marriage. So it is my honor to introduce to the stage Nate and Letitia Howard. Woo! Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I just wanted to know, how long have you two been married?
Well, we have been married 18 years, and we got married on February 14th, Valentine's Day. So,
oh my God. So y'all are a true sweetheart couple.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I won't
love
take credit
that.
for it, but it was my idea. Yeah.
It absolutely was his idea, and his story behind it was when I walk into a store during that time of the year, he wanted to make it feel like everything in there was just for me, because you would see hearts, balloons, and so, but I know deep down that he just didn't ever want to forget that day.
True story. I might not know how many years, but I know what day.
Okay. I love that. Hey, that's called knowing your strengths and weaknesses, right? So you got it.
Exactly.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So I understand that you don't have any children of your own, but you have a host of nieces and nephews.
Oh my God.
And so how have they helped shape your lives and marriage and have family around them?
Ooh, now that's a lot. I don't even know how many. I don't know how to even count them.
But we do know this. We have one more.
On the way?
And as weird as this sound, we'll be empty nesters.
Oh.
We have that many guard nieces, nephews, where we're all the way down to, we have one more last weekend, I think. One went to the Navy. Well, she's going to the Navy.
Oh.
So we have one more in Florida.
And he graduates next year.
And
So
we feel like we're done.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you're getting that empty nester syndrome too.
Oh, because we love kids so much, we feel like our everyday goes towards helping, the youth. It don't necessarily have to be your child to be your child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we pour so much into them, and the mere fact that they feel like they can come to us with anything. So they'll call us before they call their parents.
Oh, wow.
Like, they'd be like,
Yes.
I just need to talk. I just need to vent. I just need to bounce an idea of you.
Yes.
I'm filling out an application. What does this mean?
Okay.
So, and it feels great that, they trust us enough, and their parents trust us enough with their children.
That's right.
So it's a blessing.
And I
both ways.
love that, because you guys have provided a safe space,
Yeah.
and everybody needs that.
Yes.
And so that's kudos to you for doing that,
Thank you.
being that safe space for your family. So take us back. Tell us, how did you two meet?
Oh, wow.
You go ahead, and then I'll tell my story. No, they the same.
Well, I do like hearing both perspectives.
So it was a holiday weekend. It was my friend's birthday. And so she just kind of wanted to get out and do something. So we was like, hey, let's just go to the Mexican restaurant on Old National. I don't know if you're familiar with the area.
Okay.
Good.
And so we went out, and this place is very popular. So it was super crowded. And so her and I had a table with for 4, but it was just the 2 of us.
Gotcha.
And in walks Nate and his best friend, trying to find some place to sit because the place was packed. And he was like, "Who's sitting with you guys?" And we was like, "It's just us." He was like, "Oh, we're sitting with you, and we're not picking up the tab."
Oh my gosh, that was the first interaction.
Well, I got to keep it real. I didn't want her to assume anything, so I just cut the chase.
Okay.
So it started out as just us hanging out, having dinner, and laughing and joking the whole time.
Right.
Getting into to know them. Presenting ID. It was like, "How old are you? We need to see your ID." And I mean, it went from one thing to another.
Right.
But I think it started out at like 7 p.m. and we hung out the entire night until about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
we went
my.
from dinner to having morning breakfast
Oh,
at
wow.
IHOP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
And then from there, how long did you all date? And then, or did you start dating, or you just hung out as friends?
No, we didn't date. We was just friends.
Okay.
And that went on for maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
And that was very important because we got to know each other, and it's something that we still use today in our relationship.
Okay.
Our marriage, I should say. Just being friends.
Okay.
It's hard to get to know a person like really quick and just say I love you, and just take your time, and just get to know a person for who they really are, and keep that though. Don't like graduate and then you're in love and you don't never get to be friends again. We friends still today.
Okay.
First.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. So generally, I do ask, couples, like, what would they say would probably be 2 or 3 words that you would say are key ingredients to maintaining a healthy and strong relationship or marriage. So it sounds like number 1, you said the key is to be friends.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
to maintain that friendship throughout
Yes.
your
Yes.
relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
Respect.
So you all say respect
Absolutely.
Okay.
Trust.
and trust.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. So did y'all hear that? So already we're pulling nuggets out of there. We've got friendship. We got to respect one another, and you got to have trust.
That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So throughout your relationship, has there ever been a time where that trust was challenged? Did either of you ever feel like one did something that made the trust factor questionable?
I don't think so. I mean, I know we're not perfect, but we haven't had that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
trust has never been an issue with us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
wonderful.
we are so transparent.
Okay.
And I mean, we're each other's best friends.
And I think that's why the whole thing works, because being friends, the trust part of it, it's like it kind of comes natural.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And it's like, of course we get mad at each other and things of that nature, but it's still like, she ain't gonna go do nothing. You
Okay.
know? right.
Right,
You know,
right.
because the love is so strong.
That's great.
Where we don't really even think about that part of it. But that was a really good question, because I guess we don't really worry about that part.
Yeah, the
And I know
foundation,
that-
the foundation is
Right.
strong.
Yeah, the
Right.
foundation.
So,
yeah.
But see, that's good. That means you took the time to get a good footage that certain things, like the 3 key elements that you feel are so important to you, you've gotten that down packed. So that's not even a thing. Now, every relationship does have something. So when you two have had, let's say, heated conversations,
yeah.
what generally have they been about then?
Okay, you want to go first?
Money or finances.
Okay.
But not that in a bad way.
Yes.
Just how we move or navigate and how we prepare for our future.
Okay.
Later on. So for me, we got married later in life, so we were a lot older.
Okay.
So I was 35 when we got married.
Okay.
And, I had my own house, my own car, I had a career already.
Sure.
So it's tough moving into a marriage or even a relationship where, everything is completely open. This is how much I spend. This is how much I shop.
Right.
This is how I pay my bills.
Gotcha.
But we quickly realized in order to make it work, we had to have finance meetings. So we have monthly finance meetings, and it's gotten easier over the years. But at first it was very tough. Like we sit down, before we actually have a meeting, we try to pray about it.
Right.
And we was like, okay, we only gonna do this for 15 minutes, or we only do it for 20 minutes.
Okay.
But that piece of it, making it transparent so that the house runs smoothly. I get what I need, he gets what we need, and we still have the flexibility to go and do the things that we enjoy doing without having to say, can I spend $100? Can I spend $500?
Right.
So I think that part of it was hard. Just having a financial meeting and putting everything on the table.
Okay. So I like that you bring that up, because actually, and especially in these times right now, really probably about 60% or more of our people falling that, where they are doing well, each independently coming to the table with something. And then it's like, how do you, sort of bridge that, without feeling like, well, this person might take advantage of this or whatever. So, because I remember when I was engaged once, for instance, one of the things that we talked about, like both of us were the anchors to our families, like meaning we were the people that they would come to borrow money, right? Yes. So we said, let's set a standard as far as what is the monetary amount that our family member can ask us to borrow, and we don't have to ask each other, like what's our comfort level. And so we came up with, okay, so we'll just say $150, because we didn't feel that was going to break or derail anything. Gotcha. So if someone asks to borrow $150, and from my fiance, he don't even have to tell me about that. But if it was a bigger amount over that, we need to come together and talk and have an agreement. So have y'all had conversations like that?
Actually, it's weird because we almost feel what's too much, and we would come to each other and be like, what do you think? Okay. And then we always use the rule of,
if we can't afford to give it to you,
there you go,
then we don't give it to you, because we don't expect it back. Because if you're borrowing it, then you're already in a hard place. So how can you pay it back? Right. So we can't afford to give it to them, then we don't.
Okay. That's a key thing, because that's my philosophy when it comes to family or close friends, because I don't want to be sitting at like the family reunion and they owe me money and you see them with a new sweater and you're thinking, they could have paid me back with that. But that is so key. I want you guys to hear that, is if you really can't afford to be without that money, it's probably in your best interest to say no. Yes. So, and I definitely, that is my principle that I live by as well when it comes to money with family or close friends. Other than that, is we're going to have a contract.
Right. Because we don't want the relationships to feel awkward. Or when you walk into a room, or you don't even have a conversation with that person anymore, because obviously a relationship was there and they felt like they could come to you and ask for it. And so this was just our way of saying, hey, if we have it and we can afford to give it, then let's give it, and no strings attached.
Right. But now, do you tell them that up front? That's just something you know in your mind, because I'm not telling. Right. Okay. Because if my family member has the ability to pay me back, I want them to. Exactly.
So now you're putting us on Front Street because of that. Exactly.
Exactly.
So,
because
it's all good.
Because sometimes too, let's just say when you have close a big deal and, the family might know it. Sometimes some people might feel an entitlement, like, because I'm her cuz, she got to spread the wealth and not realizing, but they didn't see the sacrifices or what you haven't paid to get up to that. Like you still got to pay debts or something, but some people can still, that they're entitled to, your success. So you do have to set boundaries and parameters. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So money was something that when you are definitely coming together, was there another issue that we can let, two people that's been, I don't like the word independent. So I've never referred to myself as independent. I say self-sufficient because I believe that we were created by God or whoever your creator is, but we were created to be relational beings. So that means we need one another.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna always say self-sufficient. But when two self-sufficient people come together, are there any other things besides money that you think that may be something that they have to come together and talk about?
Just believe. Because that's the foundation to everything. You can talk about all that other stuff, but it means nothing if you don't have a strong foundation. And even when we met, she was at a different church, different, getting different religion and things of that nature. But we still believed in the same God.
Gotcha.
So that foundation alone is what we build on. So a lot of things that I feel like we're still working on today, we know we're building on a strong foundation. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Okay. So finances are important, definitely, because my motto is, God first, whoever you want to call whatever you call your higher being first, family second, and then go get the money, the bag. Okay.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Okay,
I
so-
love it.
And
Got
God
it.
is first for us as well. So.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
Definitely.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. So I understand that you two actually co-authored a book together. We've got it here. It's
That's
called,
it.
everybody, Peace, Peace, One Love.
That's what's up.
Be inspired. Okay. You even got the little, I love that you're all branded. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Got
Oh,
the
yeah.
hat going on there,
Yeah.
Nate. So tell us what inspired the book.
So we are givers, and
Okay.
we're blessed to be a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So this book is actually our ministry to the world, but
Okay.
it's us giving back in a different way versus finances.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to empower people, love, peace, and purpose. And so this is our way of, sharing little nuggets
Gotcha.
on how to maneuver this thing called life.
Oh, that is really sweet. So what's one of the biggest takeaways that you hope that your readers will walk away with after reading this book?
We definitely want them to be inspired to do whatever it is they feel like they want to do. And you got to get it out because we're just like you. People that's trying to do our best in life, and you got a lot of things inside of you that you got to let out. And this book gave us an opportunity to do that and share it with the world. So after 18 years, we feel like we had some very important things to share. So that was our goal.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
And it's an interactive book. It's not just a book you read and you put down and you don't ever read it again.
Yeah.
It has blank pages at the back. We ask you questions after a chapter you've read, and we ask you about your thoughts. And so hopefully people will get something out of it. They'll share it after they've read it. They'll share it with someone else. So maybe they could get something out of it. It talks about relationships, finance, and then just personal peace. So we have what we call Nate-isms and Letitia-isms.
Okay.
And throughout the book. And it's just, sayings that we kind of live by.
Okay.
Yeah. A little poetry.
A little poetry, yeah. So the poetry are original, and they were done by Nate.
Okay.
At the end of each chapter.
Really?
So it's definitely something we feel like will bless.
It's
other
a book
people's-
that you're definitely going to have to read more than once because
Right.
it's almost like when you go to church or something, you listen to the sermon,
Yes.
and then you listen to it again,
Right.
and then you listen to it again, and you keep getting more.
You get more and
It's
something
one of
different.
those.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
so good.
So it's no need for us to have 1,000 books. That one book, you'll definitely be inspired.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I definitely love
affirmations
that.
throughout,
Yeah.
just different things to motivate people individually, because everybody's motivated a little bit different.
Right.
And so, like I said, even if you take one thing away from that book, we feel like we've done what we needed to
That's
do.
it.
Well, that's great. Now, did you all learn anything from each other while writing this book?
Yes, we did.
Did y'all have any aha moments,
Oh yeah, we had a couple.
And what were
I'm-
some of those, if you care to share?
Well, one was I know that my wife, due to my parents being deceased in a better place, her mother, she still, has an opportunity to be with her on a daily, and she gets to share a lot of important moments with her. And of course, grandma, she was like my grandmother. Her grandmother was my grandmother. So we had an opportunity to find different things that we could share in the book. And just by those two women being in my life, I think gave me something that I've been missing.
Oh,
So
that's so nice.
that part was really important to me.
Okay.
And I think throughout the whole book process, because definitely it was not easy, even at the beginning, because we're one, but we're two different people.
Sure.
And so he writes differently than I write. And so I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. But our editor, she was amazing. And she was like, let him write his, you write yours. Don't show it to each other. you each send it to me individually, and I'll put them together in a chapter.
Oh.
And that worked. So, but I think the big thing about it is we learned each other's inner thoughts. I mean, we talk a lot,
Sure.
and so we know, but to hear somebody's inner thoughts
Exactly.
is amazing.
Exactly.
What do you want to be remembered for if you leave this earth? Like things like that. You don't really talk about. You don't have
Of
a
course.
conversation like
Exactly.
that.
Like the legacy part.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
She hit me with that one in the book, and that was a question that we both had to answer. And her answer was awesome. And normally we think legacy after, and
Right.
she was like, "Nah, living right now." And
I
I was
love
like, "That's
that.
what's up."
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I was like, "Okay,
Okay. So when you were writing a book, so did you all like do an outline and then both of you gave your perspective of talking about the different topics or your thoughts and feelings around the different, I guess, line items on that outline?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Because a lot of people, I'm an author too,
Oh.
and
Okay.
they've come to me and said like, we wanted to co-author. How do you do that? So I like hearing that. So one style is to maybe have an outline, and then you both write separately
Yes.
your thoughts and feelings, and then you can have an edit team to merge them together.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that means that when the book, before it got published, but even when you guys got to see it,
Yeah.
you were seeing his thoughts.
Yes.
You got to see hers, and it's like y'all were probably saying, "Oh my gosh."
We're
Yeah.
equally yoked."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love
But imagine
that.
going 18 years and not
Right.
really knowing.
Right.
So it took that to bring something else.
Something,
And
yes.
so I guess all your life you're gonna continue to have opportunities to grow together.
Yes.
So it don't get to a certain point where all right, I guess we
Yeah.
know everything. No. I honestly totally at this point in our marriage feel like we're at a new beginning. Like, man, we just getting started.
I love it.
This is about to be crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm like,
And
this
then
is
when I
so
read
sweet.
it, like first time reading it, I was like, oh, that's Nate in the book. And then I could be like, oh, that's me in the book.
Yeah.
Or like certain chapters would be more me versus him. And he was like, I don't see me in this chapter. I was like, keep reading. And then he was like, oh, there I go.
Okay,
Yeah.
got
And then,
it.
or like
Okay.
another chapter would be more him
Right.
versus more me.
Uh-huh.
So he was like, okay, I see what she did. So
I love it.
It's cool.
That's nice.
And that's back to the friendship. So that the marriage part, we did the book, the whole thing, but now that's the friends. Like, hey, that was dope. So we get that friend thing kick
Wow.
in. Yeah.
So
that's what's up.
so would you say that could be almost therapeutic for a couple, even if they didn't write the book, to write something together that
Yes.
forces you like come up with an outline and say, I want you to write your thoughts and about this, and come together, that it can be a way to be therapeutic, that a way to help relearn and reconnect with each other?
That book.
absolutely.
Go
Okay.
get that book.
Okay.
Peace, one love, and write all your little nuggets in there, because the book is something that we wrote, but it's really whomever reads it. It's their book.
Okay.
And it's something that I think once they do that as a couple or single or whatever, they'll have a great experience on learning more about themselves.
Okay, wonderful. Well, if some of my actual listeners would like to get a copy of your book, how can they get this?
It's available on Amazon. And
Okay.
if you just type in Peace, One Love, Be Inspired, it'll come up
On Amazon?
on Amazon.
Beautiful. Okay,
Yes.
got that? Let's go out. Let's support this beautiful couple. Amazon.com. Got it? Okay. So let me ask you guys this. If there was a couple that was going through something difficult, or maybe they've been together, let's just say 4 years, and then let's just say they're just dating and they're just trying to assess, do I need to stay? Do I need to walk away? What would be some of the things that you would say to consider in helping you make the right decision?
First of all, you need to pray about it and make sure you're in the right situation.
Okay.
I'm always putting God first. I'm
Uh-huh.
always allowing God to lead my direction.
Okay.
So they need to pray individually, and then they can pray together.
Okay.
I like to say, I know some people might not say this is traditional, but this is what we did. Be real about it. Ask the hard questions. What's your credit score? You know what I'm saying? Can I see your health record? What's your belief? You know, things of that nature. And
Okay.
we actually did that. And I know it probably felt weird a long time ago, but I was like, yo, you know, this is what I got going on. I wanna basically give you truly who I am so it can help you make a good decision as well as you give it to me so I can do the same.
I love that.
And something else that we did prior to getting married, we didn't do regular marriage counseling. And so we didn't do anything. We didn't seek advice from somebody we both knew. So I had a pastor, he had a pastor. We have friends, we have family members that's in the ministry that we could have sought
Right.
advice from. We went to an outside source that didn't know either one of us. And it was a full week workshop. And when I tell you the things that they poured into us, you know, we still use to this day.
Okay.
And I think you have to, and it's okay to seek counsel. And that's how you learn and grow.
Right.
And so you can't be afraid to ask the tough questions or even go to someone and allow them to help you through a process.
I love that you mentioned that, and I love that how you basically place it, because a lot of times, a lot of your churches do offer, you know, like premarital counseling. However, even if you're both members or one is a member, sometimes a person can feel like if they don't get a reaction that they thought, where the presenters may be biased because, well, they already knew Letitia or they already knew Nate. Do you
Right.
see?
Yeah.
So I like that you sort of leveled the playing field by saying, you know what? Not that we don't respect our spiritual leaders that we're
Right.
under, but because we love our relationship, it's important that we be on neutral ground.
Absolutely.
So that way nobody's feeling that there's favoritism, you know, going or somebody's taking slightly a little slant, you know. So I think that's important, because a lot of times I think people might reject going to counseling because of who the person is presenting, who the suggestion they should go to,
Right.
everything. So do you
Right.
think, especially in our community, and especially dealing with Black men,
Oh, yeah.
do you think the male would be more open and receptive to counseling if they're allowed maybe to be in the selection process, included in the selecting?
Yeah, I think something along that line happened with us where she was going to church totally different from mine, and God laid on my heart to leave my church and go to her church to understand exactly where she comes from. And I was submissive and I did it.
Okay.
And I joined the church and everything. And a couple of years later, you want to finish it?
Yeah. And so a couple of years, so he did that. And I guess maybe 2 or 3 years into the marriage, we attended my church. We were good members. He was like, you know, let's visit my church. And so we did that a couple of Sundays. And he was like, I need you to give this a try. He was like, I'm not getting fed. And if I'm going to be the head of the house, you know, I need a little bit more than what I'm getting. And he's like, I need you to give it a try, and I need you to be all in. And so I tried it. I loved it. And we're still there 15 years later.
Wow. Well, I really like that, because now look what he did. As the man, he actually said, you know, I want to understand my wife better, which is really the mandate that God gives to the man. We're supposed to understand.
That's right.
Our mandate is to respect, meaning, so the Creator already knew that lady wants to feel heard and understood.
Yes.
Men have a great need for respect, right? So he submitted and went to your church first because he would try. And then, do you think that helped you to be able to accept his request more, because he had already shown you that I will do this for you. So then that way you can say, it was easier for you to probably say, okay, then I'm going to do this for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, I want to make him happy. I want to make myself happy. And it wasn't immediate now.
Understand.
It wasn't immediate.
Oh, yes.
So I was back and forth for a little while.
Right.
And then I made a commitment. He didn't even know when I was going to join church. And,
Right. Okay.
And so I didn't have the conversation. I got to church. The Spirit hit me and moved me and be like, this is home. And so I made it home. And funny story, my mom is also a member of the church. So she's now joined us, but she's been there a few years too as well.
Oh, yeah.
She's probably been there about 10 years herself. So
Wow.
not only did he take me, he brought my mom along.
Oh, see, that is great. And see,
that is showing that our biggest testimonies are really not the words we speak out of our mouth, but the life that we live and that we model before people.
Right.
And so clearly she saw that when you went, you really got involved in the church, and she could see it and hear it probably in your walk and in your talk or whatnot.
Yes.
And that is, I really like that. I
Yeah.
really like that. So, okay. So I guess the last thing I want to ask in this particular session is, when we're talking about legacy, because you guys, well, actually, I have 2 questions to you guys. One is, when you're building a legacy based on love, and someone is coming behind and saying that I've had the pleasure of meeting Letitia and Nate, what would you hope they say about your love and about your relationship?
So for me, I would hope they said that I empowered them.
Okay.
I showed up with purpose, and I filled the room with love every time I walked into it.
Wonderful.
Well,
Okay.
how am I gonna say something other than that? That's pretty much it. I mean, that's what we do. We come in there and we want our presence to be felt, not because of who we are, but we know who's working through us. So we just like a vessel, you know. So when a person around us who hopefully, you know, we inspire them to just be the best them. You know?
The best version of themselves. I love that.
Show up with purpose all the time.
I love that. Nate, I do want to go back to one other thing that you said. Because you said sometimes we have to have these hard conversations talking about credit. Okay.
Yes.
At what point do you think it's important? Like, can it be, like, what would be considered like, no, it's too quick to talk about this? What do you all say? Because you do need to talk about credit. You need to talk about, you know, what your beliefs are about money, about saving, you know, because I've been in situations where I have a friend, my best friend, never forget. He said that one of the things why their relationship didn't work, he was military and he paid all of the bills, right? And his wife was working, and his desire for her was just to let them use half of her money to fund like their retirement account.
Gotcha.
Not all of it, half. And then the other half, he didn't care what she did with it.
Right.
And he said she looked at him like he was crazy or from the moon, and like, no way, this is my money.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, to me, the man, he was paying everything. He just asked that. I was like, oh my gosh, I would welcome something like that.
Right.
So how do you, like, when is the right time to be talking about really your credit score and stuff, and maybe even sharing how much money you really make, how much you have saved?
Yeah. So my answer to that would be, first of all, as a man or whomever's like, and you know, making sure to handle the finances, have a meeting with yourself. You got to talk to yourself. You got to put in at least 8 hours a week of just having a meeting with yourself. So when you do talk to your partner, it may only take 30 minutes because this is what I do. When I know I got to talk to my wife, and I know her very well, I got this thing I call 3 questions, you know, deep.
Okay.
And she's going to ask me a question, but I got to have an answer. And she's very intelligent, so there's another one behind that one.
Okay, yeah.
So with me being me, I just go ahead and add one more, you know, just for a safe haven.
Okay.
So once I get all those, and then I introduce it to her and say, this is what I'm thinking and the route that we should take. And a lot of times, I'm not picking on women, I'm just saying people with feelings.
Right.
Okay? A lot of people are emotional and they go with their feelings. But by doing that, I set a plan.
Right.
So a plan is always going to override emotions.
Right.
So I got boundaries now and I stick with the plan.
Okay.
So it's going to be some times where it's just like, this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's great. But we agreed on the plan. So if we stick with the plan, we can always do all that stuff. You know, the emotional at random, different things. But the plan, we have a target now. So we're always working towards something. So when we talk about credit and finances and all those things, we have to go back to what we agreed on.
Okay. And thank you for that. But now, Letitia, so I want to ask you this. This is for a couple who they haven't said I do yet.
Okay.
Because you're saying, what I thought I heard you say is, you really need to know the person's credit score before you get married.
Yes.
But so what would be the correct balance time? Because I don't think 2 weeks into it.
Absolutely not. So I guess after we have come to the part where he's like, okay, you want to get married? And I was like, okay. So after we say that part of it, then okay, now comes
engagement, maybe?
Yeah, after engagement. But now, as you plan for this wedding, you need to also talk about the tough questions as far as finance.
That's what I needed to hear. Okay. Because I get taught, all this all the time. Like, when is it enough? Like you don't have to disclose everything to everybody right up front, but when is the appropriate time? So what I'm hearing you say is once basically you've made a commitment that basically you are betrothed to each other, now you are both all in that. Yes, we see each other. We have a future together. We want to make this work. So once you have made that commitment, then that's when all of you need to be totally transparent with each other.
Absolutely.
Because I like what you said, Nate, about because that's how I am in sales. I've been in sales over 20 years, and I've always been the type that I want to give you, especially when you're dealing with adult, and I sold to adults. I don't have to, how can I say, pressure sale or anything. I give you the best information, and so that you can make the best decision for you and your family.
Exactly.
And so that's what we should do for our spouses. We have to give them the best information about us, so they truly can make an informed decision as to, am I that person?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because financial literacy is real. And so we've read books together, going into marriage and, laying out all the finances, because you don't want to go into a marriage or a relationship not knowing, or a month in, you realize that, he got $100,000 in debt or something, because now you're putting a strain on the marriage.
Correct.
My husband has always been a go-getter. 3 months after we got married, he got laid off of his job. 3 months after getting married, he got laid off of his job.
Okay.
But guess what? My husband was like, it's okay. We're going to be fine. He took all of his money out of his 401k and he created a job.
Wow.
He bought a truck. He got a business and he went to work.
Okay.
I
love that.
And I love that for us. Like he's a hustler. He's a gambler, not a gambler, but he will gamble.
A risk taker.
You got to invest in yourself.
And that means you take calculated risk. And that shows true leadership, because true leaders, you don't sometimes sit back and just wait for something to happen. You create opportunities. Because some people, I've heard somebody say, well, no, we don't make things happen. God makes things happen. I said, no, he implants the desire, the ideas in us, but we got to be the one to execute it. We got to make it happen.
Yes.
So absolutely. But I want to stick on something that you said, because security. So, I've heard people, men or sometimes say, well, she's just a gold digger, or some women just want somebody with, a man with money and everything. And I said, well, let me sort of recorrect that. I said, now, ladies have a natural desire for security because that's something God put in us, just like men are visual typically, right? But what that means is, like, for me, it's not that I desire you got to have a lot of money, but it's like what happened with you. If we were down on our luck, will you do whatever it takes to make sure we're still going to eat? Would you buy a lawnmower and go cut grass? I'm just saying. Would you go? I'm just saying there are a lot of things you can do. That's what true security to me is, knowing that I'm with a man that when the chips are down, he's not going to just be sitting back playing video games and, hope, God's going to bless us soon. No. But so I always take offense when people say that. I said, yes, a lady does want to be secure, but you need to really understand what that means. It doesn't mean that, because I'm going to give you an example. I used to work for a staffing company, right? And a temp agency.
Gotcha.
Some people say temp, some staffing. Yeah. But the work that we had provided, mostly they were warehouse jobs, like how they call packers and pullers or forklift drivers like that. And there was a guy who was a corporate guy, and he was pulling down about like $100,000 a year, 6-figure. He lost his job, not like he got fired, but layoff, right? So he came in and registered. And then when we told him what we had to offer, this is what he said to me. He said, oh no, I made 6 figures. I can't work for that, right? And I thought about that. I said to him, and I just said, well, again, I will be happy because we did have some things. And I said, this can be just temporarily, it doesn't have to be long term, but at least it can put some money in your hand and everything. So he said, well, I'll think about it. But my mind automatically went, what did he go back and tell his wife? Because I said, God, please don't let me be hooked up with somebody like that. Because you know what? A paycheck from somebody driving a forklift can buy groceries too.
Yes.
I mean, I thought that was like a spirit of pride that was crazy. I'm like, oh my, like I was just I wanted to be a fly on the wall. Like, oh, they ain't have nothing available there.
Right.
I'm just wondering. I don't know if he said that, but this is what went through my mind. And so I just said, kudos to you, because to me, the person that I'm desiring is, yes, I want to feel secure, but it's not about he's got to be making $1 million.
Right.
It's about he's willing to roll up his sleeves and do whatever legally, okay?
Yes.
To make money and make sure that we're eating and we've got a roof over our head.
That's it.
Now, is that a gold digger?
No.
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Just on the way here.
We just had this conversation.
Just around the corner. I was like, there's a job.
Right.
And I said, you know what's interesting? How I maneuver through life when it comes to work. There's a lot of things that people feel like it's beneath them, like you said. And then I go get that job. And then guess what? That job will end up paying more than people that supposedly
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's just how I maneuver.
My gosh.
This is just too easy.
Exactly.
It's too easy.
And so many people, that's why I say, they get caught up on, maybe I only want a job that I can wear a suit,
Right.
But of course, nowadays we have, one good thing is we have a more relaxed environment. But I was a corporate girl for my first years, out of college. And, the IBM jobs, everybody suited down. That was a typical sign of success. But I worked for UPS, right? And a lot of times our drivers, they made more than our managers did, because they could get overtime or whatnot. And so because when you're in management, you're on a salary and you're working overtime hours too, but you're not getting that.
Right.
So it all depends on what's important to you. And then a lot of times when you're in sales, because your basically paycheck is going to be commensurate with your efforts. And then when you show potential leadership skills, you may be asked to, like, well, you want to become a sales manager. Well, you're not doing that because you're automatically getting a jump in pay. A lot of times you're losing pay, but you want to be able to then impact maybe strategies, impact the way people helping others.
Right.
So that's sometimes people go in leadership roles, but it's not necessarily because they're going to be making more money.
Right.
Because I remember that was one mindset that I had to come to terms with.
Yeah.
And that's what sales helped me, is because when I graduated from college, I will admit that I had in my mind that I wanted to probably, marry this, suited up guy or whatnot.
Yes.
But then when it came down to when I got my house and stuff, I was like, oh no, I want to marry somebody that we can pay the bills.
Yes. Yeah.
And when I was meeting all these people that was making money, and they didn't, I met people, what I've said, well, there's a saying that true wealth, they don't wear the assets on there. The A,
Yes.
Real talk.
Because when I would go into people's offices or businesses, and especially when they were first starting to have home offices, some of the most wealthiest clients, they would say, oh, Angela, let me find my shoes. They walking around bare feet, or whatnot. Just come out with shorts or whatnot. They're not coming out in their, what you call it? I don't even know designer stuff. Gucci, and their red bottoms.
Yes.
So that's the thing that we have to. And then my mother was saying, we were watching a show, and that the Christian Louboutins, now that's the red bottom shoes that, that there are more people that will be considered under the medium income level that actually support that. Now, not saying that people who are well off do buy them, but I'm just saying by the percentages. And I'm like, so see, we pay more. And especially here in Atlanta, I always say that I don't ever want to look like I'm something.
Right.
I want to do the things to actually be that.
Yeah.
So if you, so I'm like, the time you or the effort that you're putting in to look like you're all that in a bag of chips, why don't you just put that effort in making the strategy, a plan to actually be all that in a bag of chips? Does that not make sense?
Yeah. Oh, that makes plenty of sense in our world. Now we talking. See,
I got you.
We start this podcast.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
So what do you all do for self-care? Because here at the Choosing Love Again podcast, we do believe that when you're givers, as the two of you are, you don't really want to be given from an empty cup, you know? So it's very important that you refuel yourself, you pour back into yourself. So what do you guys do to revive yourself, refresh yourself, and, you know?
Travel.
Okay, I love that.
And we show up for intentionally with each other. Like we still date each other. So we'll have a date night. And it don't have to be on a Saturday or Sunday. It could be in the middle of the week.
Right.
Just Wednesday or Thursday we went out for dinner. You know,
Okay.
That's how we, fill up our cup, and we take time to ourselves. I love the women's ministry at our church because we're always doing something. Nate always says we're a lot extra, but we're always having an event and we pour into each other that way.
Okay.
So that's how I can get my cup full by just,
Volunteer.
Yeah.
We not overdo it because we know how to balance that
Oh, yes.
too.
Gotta have
But
balance,
I
right.
think that's huge because even with some of the volunteering that I do, I always tell her, like, we would go pick up women from like the homeless shelter and stuff like that, and I would hear their stories, and that kind of stuff keep me humble and let me understand that life, we all make decisions, and some of them are really hard, and some people, they made a wrong decision, but it's not
Right.
the end of the world.
Exactly.
So that kind of stuff just
Oh,
kind of
yes.
keeps us grounded, you know.
keeps you humble.
Yeah, keeps you humble.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you know what they say about decisions? We are born looking like our parents, but we will die looking like our decisions.
Yeah.
Hey,
You ever heard that?
I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. So it sounds like your self-care is together as a couple. You make sure that you travel. You make sure that you're intentional about having date nights. So you're making each other a priority, you
Yes.
know. And then individually, you are still doing things important to yourself individually. You have your women's group that's important to you. Do you have anything, Nate, when you're volunteering, do you do individual volunteering or you guys are doing it together?
Mainly individually, like with transportation ministry at church.
Okay.
I'm always going to pick up different people, homeless, doing events around the city, things of that
Great.
nature. And
Okay.
then I like to do a lot of motivational speaking and a little comedy and stuff like that. So I
Oh,
find
so
ways
you think
to,
you got a little sense of humor?
Yeah, I do. I was telling my man earlier that my muscles was on layaway. That's why I wore this shirt. And we wasn't able to get them off. So you guys just gonna have to bear with me. But just having fun and just
absolutely.
allowing myself to be
Right.
me,
Yeah.
and without any pressure on any
Right.
body. Just I get to be me.
I love that.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you something. You remember when Michelle Obama first took office and was the first
Yes.
lady to wear
Yes.
sleeveless and how nice her arms were?
Yes.
And then I would tell people that, oh, well, you know what? I took one for the team and I gave her my arms.
That's what's up.
Yes.
That's
and
what's
everything.
up.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to transition now to our next segment of the show, and this is called the lightning round. Okay. So I'm just going to ask you guys some quick questions, and you can just point to or raise your hand if you think that applies to you. Okay.
Okay.
Or point to the person who it applies to. Okay.
Okay.
Well, who said I love you first?
He did.
Okay. Who's better? Oh, well, when you said I love you, what was the setting? Do you remember where y'all were when he said that?
That's
Ooh.
a good one.
I know.
You do?
Yes.
Well, I meant it. So
How did he say I love you?
No, wait a minute. Help me. Just give me something. Where were we?
In a room.
Okay.
In a bedroom, actually. So,
Was it making love?
yes.
That'll do it.
Hey, you're married. That's okay to say.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what.
Okay.
That's one way to do it, fella.
Okay. So who's better with finances?
You know what? Thank you. Because we both right. Because one thing we did find out along the way, because we struggled with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come up with the chance taking and ideas and things of that nature. And once we take off with it, she don't miss a payment or whatever it is. So
Right.
so we equally yoke on that because we are like that's really it. Like
So you're saying you're probably the visionary.
Yes.
You're the creative. This is actually the person though that is the details oriented, because you got to have somebody then that's the
Yes.
executor that can make it come to pass.
Yes.
Make sure that we don't go over budget. That we
Yes.
stay on doing things on time.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, got
Yes.
it. Okay,
Yes.
cool. So, who plans the best date nights?
Okay, we're gonna go
He
there this
does.
time.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Well, what's a special date night he has planned, Leticia, that sort of sticks out in your mind?
Oh my goodness, he does it so frequently.
Okay.
He's really good at thinking outside of the box.
Mm-hmm.
And so he came up with something this year that he wanted us to travel around the world without leaving Atlanta.
Oh,
So we tried to go to a restaurant from another country within Atlanta, because Atlanta has so many
wow.
restaurants to
Yes,
offer. So
right.
so each month we try to intentionally
Right.
venture out and try a restaurant from another country.
Mm.
Each month. I don't know.
That's really
like,
nice.
yeah.
It's fun.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is
That
fun.
was
Should've
nice.
tried.
Okay, I like that. I
you
really
should-
like
oh,
that.
man.
Okay.
Tomorrow, Puerto Rican.
Yep, tomorrow we're doing
Yeah.
Puerto Rican.
Okay.
But I feel like he knows my love language, and he knows that I'm a beach girl. I love the water. I
Okay.
love the ocean. And, one weekend he'll be like, hey, let's just get in the car and let's just drive to Florida. And he knows how much I love the beach. He'll sit on the beach with me for 8 hours. Like, he'll get me a cabana.
Yeah.
He'll go get me food. He'll get me drinks. Even if he'd be like, I'm going to just go walk around here. And I'm fine just sitting here
Right.
watching the ocean, sitting. And
Right.
he's okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that for me.
Yeah. So, what's his love language?
Respect.
Okay.
Like, he wants me to respect him. He wants me to respect him in private and public.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants me to show up for him.
I love that. Okay. Does she do a good job doing that,
She
Nate?
does. She
Okay.
does. Doing a great job.
Okay.
Yep.
So, who's more generous?
Generous.
Ooh.
Could we even say who's more?
When I say we're equally yoked, we are, because we are givers from the heart. Like,
Okay.
we'll give without even thinking about it. We'll just be in a restaurant. He'll see a couple. We'll have a conversation with them. And before you know it, he's like, tell a waiter, I'm going to pay for their check. And not even think about it. We don't even have to tell him. Then we walk out the door. Same. We'll be with family and we'll just pick up the check.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. It's just
But
in us.
but at the same time, when it comes to things that she does, when it comes to being generous, the younger family members that we pretty much been a part of their life, she'll do things for them that I wouldn't really know, but I know that's what she would do.
Uh-huh.
And she'll plan it months.
Okay.
And she go all in,
I
and
love it.
they know that about her. So I think that's huge, for
Oh.
a person to have that type of heart. For it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
real nice.
'Cause, I do it with intention, because I feel like they've worked hard, and I want to they're not our kids but they're our kids.
Exactly.
So just like last weekend.
It takes a village.
It takes a village, and I want the village to show up for them.
Exactly.
And so just like last weekend, I knew we had one that was graduating. She lost her mom a few years ago.
Oh.
But I wanted last weekend to be about her.
Right.
And talking to her, and she was like, I want to go to a restaurant that's by the water. Baby, we going to a restaurant that's by the water.
Okay.
She loves the beach just as much as I do. Babe, next morning we getting up, we're going to the beach, and
I
we're going to
love
spend
it.
a few hours at the
Right.
beach.
Mhm.
Like, whatever, I'm here for you this weekend. Whatever
Right.
you want, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And showed up with purpose.
I love that.
So
Now, another thing with that is I really believe that one of the reasons why you and others sometimes are so richly blessed is because God knows that you are a trusted vessel, that He can trust you to get things to and through you. And because I've had conversations with people like, well, it don't take, you don't really need a lot of money or whatever. I'm like, to me, that's sort of a limitless type of thing, but I respect everybody. You have a
Right,
right
of
to be
course,
how
right.
you are. But I'm like, but if you truly want to really be able to impact and bless people's lives, you're going to need funds to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or whatnot. And it is nothing more rewarding to be able to do something effortless, like, your niece. I want to go to the restaurant on the beach, and I want to be on the beach. I got you. And knowing that it's no sweat, meaning you're not like, can I have enough to pay my rent to do this? You know, I'm like, so wouldn't that be, isn't that a blessed stage situation to be in?
Yes.
So it's not about you have the money and you just, stocking it up and, not ever helping each other.
Right.
But it's about when you have enough that you can be, we're blessed to be a blessing. Or I always say, when we do have a need in life general, when people have a need, are they going to get blessed? God doesn't zap it through the sky.
Right.
It's going to be through somebody, right? Whether it's an opportunity for a new job. Usually, I was in HR. Usually a person comes and say, you've got the job.
Right.
Right? We're going to be blessed through people.
Right.
So if that's the case, then just ask to be one of those people.
That's
that
it.
I can be a vessel, that I'm going to be that blessing. So at any rate.
I just think it's important that people understand that don't just live to survive. Scribe.
Exactly.
And then that'll put you in position to be able to be a blessing to others.
Absolutely.
Don't just do enough for you. Do people not know that being a blessing is like the real true currency? Like
exactly.
They wanting to like always take, and I'm like, no, the more we give, they don't even realize that's what's blessing us.
Absolutely.
Like we're on the other side of it. It was like it's not a secret.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep. Okay, so we got to wrap this up now. We're going to go into my favorite part of the show now. This is called the Connection Bowl, okay?
Ooh.
So you guys have been so kind to, give of yourself, share your life or whatnot. This is going to be all about you. I want these are going to be questions that you're going to ask to each other that's going to allow you to reconnect or maybe remember something or rekindle something that you might have not even thought about lately. So each one of you get to pick one. And then you have to read it out loud so we will know what you're answering.
Okay. Ooh. If you could relive one day from our relationship exactly as it happened, what day would you choose and why? Ooh.
Wow. Well, I would have to go to the wedding when you was crying. And all that, and it was just so. I know. Go ahead and say it.
Oh, you was crying too. Wiping your tears.
Oh, so both of you cried on the wedding day.
That was deep. So yeah,
It was a good day.
So was that my question?
That was my question I asked you.
Oh, okay.
So now it's your turn.
Okay, so now you get to pick.
All right. Let's see what we got here. What is one act of kindness I have shown you that you'll never forget?
Ooh.
You want to read it one more time?
What is one act of kindness I have shown you that you'll never forget?
I think you just you show up. You show up in every way. My family is your family. Like, we don't even have like separate families. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when he shows up for family, he shows up for family. Like, my grandmother, she was 90 years old when she passed. And when I tell you, I'd be like, that's my grandmama. And he was like, no, that's our grandma. Like, I feel like he probably tried to love her more than me, but like, we don't pick sides. Like, you just show up for our family. And I love that for us.
I love that. And you actually already modeled that at the beginning of the show, because he talked about your grandmother and said, she was my grandmother too.
That's right.
So I love that.
Right.
I love that.
And I love that I was able to share her with him because he never had grandparents.
That's what he said.
And so I had grandmother, great grandparents. Like, I had grandparents on both sides of my family, my mom's side and my dad's side.
Right.
And I hate that he didn't get to experience that, because there's nothing like
yes.
grandma. Well, he did get to experience it because I shared my grandmother, but there is nothing like a grandmother's love.
Exactly. That is so true. But you see, That is such the faithfulness of God.
Yes.
Probably, again, why your union was established, because what we don't get in our natural family, God has a way of bringing it into our lives, you know, what we need. So I think that is so perfect. So on that note, we're going to have to end this episode of the podcast, but I wanted to say thank you so much. You
Thank
guys
you.
brought the fire today. Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you.
again, do not forget, get a copy of their book, Peace, Peace, One Love, Be Inspired. Go to Amazon.com. Let's support this beautiful couple. Thank you all so much for being on you were great guests, okay?
Well, thank
so
you for
much.
having us.
You're welcome.
All
You're
right.
welcome. And to all of my listeners out there, thank you again for rocking with us today. If this show added value to you in any way, all that I ask is to share it with someone that you know. Send it to all your friends, all your family. And remember, we drop an episode of the Choosing Love Again podcast on every other Tuesday. So the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. So in all you're doing, remember, it is not enough to find the right person. We must become the right person. Until next time, bye.